Okay, hi guys.
Hi. I was like doing a little jam session. I was like dancing.
I don't know if you can see me like before I put us up here, but I could see you.
Yeah. I couldn't see you. So I was like, I know she can see me. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
I
get
could
it.
totally see you.
Get it.
I was like, don't laugh. They can all hear you. Hi everybody. How are you?
Hi guys.
All right. So if you guys are joining right now, it is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. So come on, come say hi. Let us know where you're watching from or how your day has been. Or if you're watching it later and it's the replay, you could just do #replay. We still see those comments. Perfect. Okay. So I know you're on your computer this time. Can you see all the comments?
I can.
Okay.
They're all on the
Perfect.
right. I had to get out of the chat thing and go to comments though, but I found it.
Good.
We're good.
All right. Good. Hi, Karen. Hi, Ed. Hey, Amanda. I'm excited.
Owasso, Oklahoma. Did I say that right? Owasso?
Owasso.
Owasso.
Oklahoma is so pretty.
Yeah.
I
think
it.
I've been through there one time, but like not to stay, like to drive through.
Yeah,
But
when we were living in Texas, Andrew and I went to Oklahoma and did some camping, and I was like, the whole time we're camping, I'm just like sitting outside looking at the stars in like complete amazement. I'm like, I'm never leaving. I'm never leaving.
Dallas, Georgia, New Orleans. Look at all over.
I love it. How is everyone? So we are halfway through the week. How has your week been? Canada. Look at that. People from everywhere.
Mexico. That's awesome. Indiana.
All right. So we are going to be hanging out tonight. It's going to be a super just like very chill live. So if you guys are new to me, my name is Ashley Smarowsky. I'm a spiritual medium psychic. So, I talk to dead people and talk about your future and all that good stuff. And I have this wonderful group of master healers, and Wendalynn is one of them, and she's absolutely phenomenal. So Wendalynn, do you want to kind of introduce yourself for any newbies? And I'm just going to follow your lead tonight.
Sounds good. Yeah. I'm Wendalynn B. I'm also a spiritual psychic medium. I'm also a spiritual grief coach. And I have 4 kids. I'm always busy. I am a firefighter in the area where I live, so I'm always working. And I don't know. I'm just, like I said, we're just chilling tonight. We're just chilling. We'll chat, vent. I want to vent tonight. I feel like I know I need to get some things off my chest. So if anybody else has some things to get off their chest, they can stick it in the chat and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely. I love that. And, like you said earlier before we went live, sometimes people just need that safe space to be like, blah, 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 here's what's going on without any judgment. So you guys will not find any judgment here. And if we see any in the comments, banned, deleted, gone.
Right. Or if you put anything like that you're going to harm someone else, we're going to have to report that.
Yeah.
We don't want to hurt anybody else. But yeah. So October, I cannot believe it's October already.
Right? I know. I was just talking to my husband and I was like, where did September go? Like, I feel like it literally just started and now it's gone.
It's gone. And and we're almost like halfway through October already, where it's going to be Christmas before we know it.
Yep.
I cannot keep up at all. It is what it is. And I'm sure a lot of you that have kids that play sports or in all the activities, schools started back up. So everything's happening. There's homecomings, football, soccer, dance, whatever. And it's just like, I need a break.
Yeah.
I don't even do anything. Like, I don't play sports, but I need a break.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. It's like, I've been super quiet here on social media for the same reason. Like, I'm just like, I just need a break. I'm so tired. And it's not that there is more than what usually goes on, but it's not, in all honesty, it's not something I can't handle. It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm just tired.
Just tired. And I think like in the Awaken group, we talked about the moon and how like this last full moon was just like, oh my God. I felt like I usually feel like super energized after. And this time I was just like, no, I just want to take more naps. I want to take all the naps. I don't want to deal with anything. But I also think I am perhaps putting all of my stuff to the back burner by taking naps because I don't have to deal with it if I'm taking a nap. So that's probably not the most healthy way for me to deal with all of the shenanigans and stress that has been coming up. But, you know, sometimes you just need that break. You need that rest. And that's what I've been doing. I've been napping with the puppy, curled up. But, I didn't talk about my October specials at all yet.
Oh, well, yeah. Look at us. We're just diving right in.
We're just diving in. So Ashley has my website at the bottom, wendalynb.com. And if you go to book, I think it's wendalynb.com/book09. But one special that I'm running ends this week. I'm doing a Friday the 13th psychic email reading, like a mini psychic email reading for $13. So that service, there's no special code. The service is listed. Book before Thursday night, and you'll get your email reading. I think I put by 10 p.m. on Sunday, which is the 15th. So, and there's limited spots for that. So get in and like, I think I'm like almost half full already for the spots. So
$13 for an email reading is that's a deal.
Yeah. I did it. I was like, this is a lot of work, but it's cool. It's Friday 13th. You got to go with the theme. We're spooky. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's good. And the other one is a virtual psychic reading. Now, neither of my specials this month include mediumship. So for anyone that doesn't know the difference, mediumship is when we talk to the dead people. We talk to your loved ones. Psychic is like, I mean, for me, I connect to your spirit team, not a specific loved one. And then, you know, whatever questions you ask, we'll see what they say and we'll go for the guidance. That was another thing on the Friday the 13th one though. See, I wrote myself notes because I'll forget. In the comment box, when you book, put your one question, because I did put that. You can ask one question and then I'll connect to your spirit team and your guides and try to get the answer for you. I'll have oracle cards available when I'm doing it, just in case I feel drawn to them. But yeah, so those are my two specials this month. Like I said, it's like, and you know, we've discussed before, mediumship really, it does take a lot of energy sometimes. Most of the time, not sometimes. And so like, I'm just like, so myself that I'm like, I don't know if my readings would be as detailed as I would like. So that's why I didn't include mediumship this month. Hopefully I'm re-energized by Thanksgiving and I'm like, hey, we're back. Let's do it. So, but yeah, get on and book the Friday 13th because today's the 11th. So you literally have 2 days left to get that booked.
And you know, mediumship does like, it takes a whole different type of energy. And it's so funny. I feel like I'm just listening to myself talk here because I've done the same thing this month. Like I really limited the number of mediumship readings I had available. Like I probably cut them a little bit more than in half than what I usually offer. Cause I was like, I can't.
And like, we're both the same like thought process with that. Like we want to give really good readings. And you know, some people, I think we talked about this on the live last month. There's some people that you see on TikTok or wherever that are just pumping them out. And if they have that energy to do it, good on them. Good on them. More power to them. But I feel like sometimes there's some spammers that are just trying to take advantage of people. And we get spammers on our pages too. Like, or like leaving reviews for another like psychic. And I'm like, that's not even me. And like, I got to block it. So just be aware and make sure you're going to our sites when you book. Cause I don't want to see anybody. Inflation sucks. Everything costs a lot of money. I want you to get the most bang for your buck. And I don't want somebody to try to take advantage of you.
Yeah. I feel it makes me so sad because I probably at least once a week, I'm getting messages from somebody, from at least one person saying they got scammed by someone claiming to be me. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like only go to my website. Don't go anywhere else. I will never send you a Cash App link. I will never message you. I'll never comment and be like, oh, drawn to you. Like, please don't.
No, it's terrible. And it's terrible that there are people out there that prey on people who are hurting and people that just need guidance. Like, but I mean, that's the world in general. I think that's kind of what I want to vent about today. So we talked about shadow work before too. So backstory for everyone. I don't know why, but I have like this thing with like outdoor bands. So where I live is on the water, and or near the water. I can't afford to live on the water. But we have a lot of like waterfront bars. And I like music. Like I dig it. But sometimes I want to sit on my porch in the summer and just hear crickets and the birds and look at the stars and not hear 3 different bands competing from different directions. And it's just like my thing. I don't know why. That and dogs that bark. I have 3 dogs. I love dogs. Don't let your dogs go outside and bark for hours on end. Right? So last weekend, I went camping with my husband and the puppy. And sorry, somebody was calling me and it said no caller ID. So I'm declining that. And it was supposed to be primitive tent camping. Like we were in a canvas tent. There was no electricity. Like we went to the bathroom in a loo. And if you don't know, it's like a box that they have a hole cut in. And there's toilet seat on top and there's a bucket. And you got to like change back, like the whole thing. We're there the first night. And it's like 6 o'clock. We're sitting around the fire. And I start to hear music. And I'm like, what the heck? We're on a 96-acre farm in the middle of nowhere. What is going on? So I look it up. There's an all-day music festival right down the valley from where we were staying on Saturday. And I was like, only me. Like, seriously. But I was like, let me step back. Why is this happening? Like, what is the lesson here? Because I'm just now, my whole mindset changed. I was like, I'm not going to have a good time now. I'm going to have to listen to this music all day tomorrow. I wanted to relax. I came out here so we could get away from everything and try to reset. So luckily my shadow work coach is on speed dial and I'm like texting Sarah and I said, seriously, what is happening? She was like, let me put on my hat.
Right.
She's like, I had work to do to look inside and I have to figure out why that stuff bothers me and why I feel the need to have control all the time. I'm a fixer. I want to fix things. I can't fix that. And instead, I think the big lesson was I never allow myself to be in the moment because I'm always worried about the distractions.
Yeah.
And I was like, and here's the good thing. The bands were good. Like they weren't like bad bands. It was like a church thing. So it was all like, Christian rock, Christian pop, but it was like 12 different churches that did this festival all day and it rained all day, but they still had like people show up. Yeah. But I was like, all right, let me just let this go and relax. But I don't know how to relax. And I don't know how to let go of the reins. Yep. And I don't know how, and I'm working on it. And we're all working on this.
Yep.
But I don't know how to enjoy the moment.
I think a lot of people struggle with that. Like, how do I just relax? And as you were talking, in my head, I kept hearing like learning how to find peace amongst the chaos. Which easier said than done, but possible.
It is possible. And I work in chaos a lot, and I don't like. It doesn't affect me when I'm at work, but some reason when I'm at home, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I think I want that solitude. Yeah. And I want that, let me just enjoy what I have here. But I don't know. Put it in the comments. Anybody else feel like they need control?
Yep. I'll be surprised if nobody comments. If nobody comments, I'm going to call you out. You're not telling the truth. So, yeah, because I think that's something a lot of people struggle with. And like, logically, right? Like I'm very similar. Logically, I understand I need to be able to find peace amongst the chaos. And logically, I know the steps on how to do that. However, my immediate response when I'm not being aware of myself is, well, I need to go get a hotel room and just disappear for a weekend. It's the only way I'm going to find peace. And it's like, okay, that's a great option every now and then, but like, that's your extreme. That's you trying to run away.
And then we're not dealing with, and even if we all run away, right? If we go and we get that hotel room for the weekend, the things that we have run away from are still going to be there when we get back.
Yes.
And again, it's just like neglecting the the important stuff that should be on the front burner.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just, what happens when you have water on the burner and you walk away? It boils over, and then you got a bigger mess to clean up.
Yep.
And I know my guides were calling me out over the weekend with this. Like, hey, you think it's going to go this way? Well, let me just throw something right in your face. And I'm like, all right, I hear it. I hear it. I need to acknowledge it. But
yeah. And I love it. I can only imagine, like, your guides are probably sitting there like, look, she's going to go really connect with nature. Now is the time. And you're like, what the hell?
Like, I just wanted today. Jennifer Hammond said, I'm totally like you. If I don't have control, my anxiety takes over. And I think that could be a lot too. Like, worst, I've talked about this in the past, worst case scenario. If I don't have control, I think bad things are going to happen. And so I want to have control to prevent, but that's part of our human experience.
Yep.
Is the bad things.
Right. It's so funny. I swear we are the same person right now, because I was having a conversation with my husband earlier, and we were talking about something, and he was really kind of stressing over it. And I told him, I said, look, if it's meant to be, it'll be. Like, you just have to give up the expectations. And he was like, I'm just going to go cut the grass. And like, he had spent hours stressing over this thing, and he went outside to cut the grass, and he wasn't out there for more than 30 minutes. And he came back inside, and he was like, it happened. Like, he was waiting on a phone call, and he was like, I got the phone call. And I was like, what happened? He goes, I went outside, and I just literally was like, you know what? Talked about like all the positive things and whatever, had this conversation with himself. And he goes, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And he just went to cutting the grass. So in that moment, he let go of the expectations, and immediately the universe provided. I was like, he was like, I was outside, and I was just like, damn it, Ashley.
Like, why is she always right? Gosh, I need to listen to her. What is that?
Should be used to it by now, right?
Yeah. Hey, Danny.
Hi.
Oh, yeah. Catherine said that's exhausting. It can be exhausting.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm dealing, and Ashley and I talked a little bit about this before we went live, but I'm dealing with a situation that I'm trying to create healthy boundaries. All right. Boundaries are important. So hold on. Grammy Gigi, I believe I just booked your last spot. I should have more Grammy Gigi, but I love that name, Grammy Gigi. Here's why. Grammy Gigi. My kids called my mom Grammy and called my grandmother Gigi. Oh my gosh, Grammy Gigi.
Look, no such thing as coincidence.
No. They're like, hey, how are you? But so boundaries. Another part of my stress is allowing myself to be involved in other people's stress that really has no direct effect on my life or my family's life, because I want to be there and I want to be that supportive friend. And I'm sure many in this group feel the same way. Like, you feel like if you don't pick up the phone every time they call, you don't text back immediately, they're going to hate you.
Yep.
And we all have that people pleasing intent sometimes. And like, we can create those boundaries with love. You don't have to cut somebody off. And this is what I'm learning. You don't have to cut somebody off in a malicious way. But when it affects you to the point where your heart's beating fast and your anxiety like shoots up whenever you see that name on your phone, you know it's time to take a step back.
Yeah.
And you can wish them the best, you know, and you want them to have food at their table, but they don't need to come to yours like that, you know? So Lisa Bryan, I have problems setting boundaries with people I love, not in my career or strangers. And I think that could be a thing like learned as a child.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're only going to get love if you perform well or if you conform to what everyone else wants you to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
I mean, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it's like, it's just a learned behavior.
Yeah. Like, you think about it in, you know, growing up, you're typically praised for when you do something that the adults around you want you to do. Right. Or like, you respond or you react or you accomplish whatever it is that like their expectations. You're never praised when you say, no, I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, it's like you go to visit your distant aunt and your parents are like, okay, give a hug, bye. And you're like, I don't want to hug that stranger. And they're like, that's rude, go hug. And so like immediately your boundary is crossed. And so
Mm-hmm.
grow up and you're like, oh, my boundaries don't really matter, you know?
Right. And
Yep.
then, and that just floods into, and like, you know, we talk about breaking like generational curses, and
Hmm.
not all of the things our parents did with us or to us or for us was a curse,
Right.
but it's behaviors that maybe we don't want to pass on to our kids.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not going to make my kids hug anybody they don't want to hug. You
Nope.
know, you can fist bump, boom, whatever,
Hmm.
air high five, or just say, peace, I'll see you later. Like,
Yep. Yep. I've always told my kids, like, acknowledge, don't be rude, but
mhm,
like you don't need to hug if you don't want to hug. Like, that's
no.
fine.
No. So let's see. I'm definitely working on the boundaries. Yeah. I think,
Hmm.
and I think the boundaries thing is something we will all continuously work on for our entire human existence here.
For sure.
Because there's always going to be different people, different situations, different personalities coming into our lives. And it's all learning experience.
Hmm.
But sometimes we're like, what the heck is this lesson? I
Yep.
don't like this lesson. I
Yep.
thought I already learned this lesson. Why are you bringing it up again? I don't like it.
I just had that conversation the other day. Like, you feel like you healed it, and then the next thing you know, it's
Mhm.
like, just kidding. Here it is again.
Here, let me rip that band-aid off and the scab will come right with it.
Yep. Yeah.
Catherine said I was a clown for attention.
Hmm.
So, and that's the thing. As a kid, any attention's good, whether it's
Yeah.
bad or good. If you're craving love and you're craving acceptance, you're going to do whatever you need to do to get it.
Mhm.
So, there's some kids that are deprived of attention at home, and they feel like, and maybe home isn't the safe space. So those are usually the children that we see at school maybe acting out
Yep.
because they know it's safe. They know the people around them there want the best for
Mhm.
them. So they're like, well, let me just act like a maniac because
Mhm.
somebody's going to pay attention to me.
Yep.
It doesn't bode well for us as an adults to do that.
Right.
I still do that sometimes. I'm like, hey, like I got class clown superlative in high school. Like I was like, right here. But you know, it's too much sometimes for
Yeah.
people. And not that I would ever tell anyone to put a lid on themselves for others. However,
Mhm.
you got to recognize when you're doing something because you like it or because there's a ulterior motive for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. I
So,
know, and I'm sure a ton of people in the comments are like, oh, that sounds like me. I totally get
mhm,
that. And for me, it was kind of the other way around. I didn't act out for attention. Mine ended up turning into like self-worth issues. And so I'd shrink down. And I
mm,
would more go with the flow because I wanted to people please. And so then I became an adult and I learned about, good girl syndrome. And I was
yeah,
like, oh shit.
that was me. Like
Yeah,
you're
now I
like,
have to
hey,
overcome
right
that.
here. Yeah. So I did like I was a good girl, straight A, you
Hmm.
know, in church choir, all that till like high school. And then I just went off the freaking rails and, you know, was getting
Yep.
suspended, got pregnant in high school. And I was like, oh, look at me. Look at all this attention now. Not that it was the best kind of attention,
Yep.
but,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah. Yep. Look, Lisa's like, yeah, Ashley, me too. Yeah. And,
yeah.
sometimes whether it's setting our boundaries and
Hmm.
enforcing those boundaries with others, or if it's, just, I just lost my train of thought. What I was going to say, oh, loving people from a distance.
Hmm.
You can want someone to succeed and you can be heartbroken that you weren't a good match, whether that's in a friendship, even a family dynamic, a romantic relationship, whatever. You can be sad, like, it is what it is. I accept that we're not a good match here. I'm going to love you for a distance. I want you to succeed. I want you to have a great
Yeah.
life, but this just isn't healthy for me anymore. And then you
Mm-mm.
enforce that boundary.
Yeah. Which is always tough because it's going to be, you're going to have that awkward stage
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, I can't really chat right now, but you know, that'll pass with time.
Yep.
Lisa said, exactly. Thank you. It led me to being in a 9-year narcissistic relationship that I just exited. Good for you for
Yes.
getting out of that, Lisa.
Yep.
Super, super happy.
Yeah. That's not easy. Yeah. Dora said, just seems like everything I do in my life, sometimes something else goes wrong. always. And it's hard not to be stressed out every day.
So, and I want to say this about perspective. Yeah. So I can get like that too. Like, oh my gosh, everything's going wrong. But then I'm like, time out. Is everything really going wrong, or am I just pissed off at the world? So every little inconvenience I turn into like a freaking mountain, right?
Yep.
And it's hard in the moment to realize that it's not that bad. Because in that moment, you're like, I'm in this freaking hole in the ground and dirt's falling on top of me and I can't crawl out. And it's like somebody's just up there saying, haha, and kicking it on you.
Yeah.
But just Doris, next time you feel like that, just try to take a moment, take a deep breath and say, is this really, really, really something that's like going to drag me down? Or is it just how my emotions are handling it right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I like to ask myself in moments like that, like in the long run, when I am on my deathbed, is this inconvenience really going to matter? And if the answer is no, then I'm like, okay, then it just sucks. It is what it is right now. It just sucks. And then I try to focus on gratitude and let go of whatever that hardship is. Yeah. Like, we'll figure it out as we go. I'm not going to spend any extra time stressing about it.
Yeah. Did you see what your husband said? He said, quit talking about me, Wendy.
Stop. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. I guess he must have missed when I was talking about him just a few minutes ago.
He'll catch that on the replay, buddy.
Yep.
Rebecca Ball, I've been trying to think of 2 to 4 things I did for the day that was positive for the day. That's awesome. So we used to do that, and I really wish we did again. When the kids were little and we actually like all ate dinner at the table, we did high-low, right? So everybody would share the high of their day and everybody would share the low. And then we could like kind of like break it down and dissect it. Like, was it really a low? Or like in the moment, yes, it totally felt like a low to you. So what are we going to do to change that tomorrow?
Right.
You know, we haven't done that in a while because schedules, and I have teenagers and everybody's somewhere different. You know, we usually eat on the couch or something. I don't know. Or they take their food to their room. They're like, all right, bye. See you, Mom.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And I swear, I think, and I will say this until I'm blue in the face. Gratitude, as cheesy as it sounds, it will literally change the reality that you live in, because how you perceive your experiences and how you perceive yourself, how you perceive the world around you, that is what creates that reality you live in. So you and I could live an identical life. I mean, with no differences, but I could perceive it one way and you could perceive it the other way. And we'd be existing in 2 completely different realities.
And that has a lot to do with like our upbringing too. Like our perspectives are different because of how we saw the world growing up. Like I know my world and how I see like opportunities or whatever is going to be different than my neighbor 2 doors down. Like, you know what I mean? So magnet, when you are grateful, somebody wrote gratitude is a savior. Yes,
it is. And some days, you know, some days it's really hard to find something to be grateful for. Some days it's literally like, I can breathe, or, you know, I've got 2 feet. Like sometimes you just really have to get very basic with it. And then other days there will be so much, too much to list.
And that's like a lot with grief too. Like when you're like just so like in your feels and in that deep like depression of grief, you know, if you get out of bed that day and you walk down the steps to make a bowl of cereal, that's a win.
Yep.
That's a total win. If you didn't take a shower, oh, well, you got out of bed. That's a win.
Yep. Yeah.
Like celebrate your own little victories when you know you're feeling.
For sure.
Like you.
Yep. It really does. It makes a world of difference. And, you know, kind of piggybacking off of that. And then I don't know why this just clicked, but what we were talking about earlier, you know, we kind of live in a society where it's like, okay, you got to pick yourself up and keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. So when we're going through something like grief or heartache or anything like that, we tend to put so much pressure on ourselves. Like, why am I not okay yet? Why am I like, give yourself time. One day you'll be fine. And maybe next day you won't. And that's okay. Give yourself that grace. And it's like how right now it seems like everybody's sort of feeling this burnt out feeling. as we get closer into like the holiday season, you know, a lot of seasonal depression sort of comes on around this time. And we forget that society teaches us keep going, keep going, keep
Yeah.
going. But our bodies are naturally in tune with the earth. And what does the earth do during these seasons? It rests.
Rest. Yep.
Mhm.
Hibernates.
Yep.
Rest.
Yep. Yep.
We
We
should
don't.
work should be able to like let us rest in the
Yeah,
winter. Like we should totally be able to hibernate. It'd be
for
cool.
sure. Yep.
So I saw a comment earlier, Beck. Beck said, if wondering if you're doing readings, I would love to know if I will be changing jobs soon. It's a really toxic situation I'm in and not sure. That caught my attention. And yes, we will be doing readings. And I
Yep.
think, is it okay if I just jump into this right now?
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
told
Beck
you I'm
Nesbitt.
following your lead tonight. I'm
Yeah.
just here.
Yeah. Beck,
So
are you still here?
do you want to alternate readings tonight?
Yeah, we can do that.
Mhm.
We can do that. All right. Beck, changing jobs. So have you started to like apply to new jobs? Because I kind of feel like, so your guides are saying she knows it's a toxic situation, right? And you can't be in it anymore. But like, have you taken any steps? Because I kind of feel like you haven't taken the steps yet to like actually like leave. You have started applying. Okay. Have you had any interviews? I see like around Christmas, and that's going to suck because it's like 2 months away, right? And then like Christmas, you need like the steady income for whatever happens in the holidays. Went for and didn't get the job. Okay, I am seeing like around Christmas time for you. But the toxic, your guides are kind of saying the current job you're in, there's some kind of lesson that you have skipped over with learning how to deal with these people. And it's not, I feel like they really take advantage of the employees. Okay. So they're saying you're getting skills. Yes, I know what you're saying, and yes, they do. Okay. You're getting the skills right now that you're going to need in the future of how to deal with these people. Now, they are showing me these people at work that are currently like, that treat everyone else like poo. Karma's going to come back to them. But that's not your job to make that karma happen. Your job is to acknowledge the experience that you've had while there and take all of the tools that you've used to deal with this and make sure it never happens to you again. It's almost like all the crap that you've gone through is like metal, right? And all of the like little, I don't know, I feel like they say really nasty stuff to you too. Like all the little comments and all the little digs and all the little write-ups are like poured into this bucket, and they're showing me like the metal being melted into a suit of armor, right? So in the future, like you're going to be protected, but you have to acknowledge it, and you can't. I don't feel like you're just a person that complains. Like I think you're a doer. But like they're saying it's not her job to make the karma happen. Like it'll happen. Let me get one card for you back. But yeah, I definitely feel like around Christmas time, actually like 2 weeks before Christmas, you'll hear something. You might not have the new job by then, but you're definitely going to hear back from one of those things. Oh, look at that. New moon in Aquarius, open to change. Look at that. No such thing as coincidence, right? So be open to the change. I almost feel like the job is going to be something in the same line of what you're doing, but like on a different branch that you hadn't thought of. So maybe with that, with your job search, don't search for exactly what you do now. Search for something that like kind of branches off your current skill set. I hope that helps, Beck, and good luck. You got to let us know what happens.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I do see some people asking for loved ones. So we're just going to do psychic readings tonight. So that pertains to, you know, anything about your physical life. Let me see. So Wendy Coxon, I'm really drawn to you. You said open for any spiritual guidance and purpose. So I don't know what it is, Wendy. Like, I don't know, obviously I don't know the details here. But I feel like how do I want to put this? I feel like you've been doing a lot of self-compromising. Like you've just been like, you know what? I'll get to that when I get to that. Or, you know what? This isn't really what I want, but it's fine. Like in some form, just doing a lot of self-compromising. I feel like you've been doing that for way too long. And Spirit's like, enough is enough. We're not going to do this anymore. And I feel like and I mean this with so much love, I feel like you're sort of being stubborn when it comes to your intuition and actually sitting down and acknowledging the knowing that is already within you, because logically it's not making sense. So rather than sitting with it, you just keep ignoring it, or you keep like chalking it up to, oh, that's coincidence, or oh, that's wishful thinking or whatever. And Spirit's like, no, this is us trying to get a hold of you. This is us trying to talk to you. So I would really encourage you to take some time. I think meditation would be great, but I don't feel like you're one who likes to meditate. So doing things like going for a walk, go, pick a trail, go for a walk, go walk a trail, connect with nature. Also, I think journaling would be really great for you, even if it's just bullet points, but nonetheless journaling and just sitting down and allowing whatever needs to come out to come out. Like the first few times that you do this, don't sit down with any expectation. Just sit down and let it roll. Because I think you're going to actually learn a lot about what's going on with your intuition when you loosen up those reins and you're not trying to control what is coming through. Hold on. I'll show you these cards in a second. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So I pulled 3 cards for you, and Spirit is definitely trying to get your attention here. So the cards that came out, you have kindness, respect, compassion. So this is one that I really feel it's like, be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself. Of course, you're not going to know what your intuition is trying to say because it's your intuition, but nonetheless, you need to try to trust it. You need to make the space for it. The next card says, go with the flow of life, be open to change. And that will allow things to come to you a lot easier. So it's when you stop trying to control and even understand what's coming in, the clarity will just surface. It'll just be a knowing. And then the last card is open up your heart, have fun, celebrate. So I feel like whatever's going on right now, you're taking it too seriously. And when it comes to communicating with spirit or even our own intuition, we make that way more complicated than what it needs to be. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be this big booming voice that says, this is what you need to do. It's going to be a subtlety within you. And I feel like your guides are really just wanting you to make more space for that, Wendy, to just make more space for the knowing, make more space for your feelings, and just check in with yourself a little more periodically, if that makes sense. I don't see you comment, so I hope that you're still here, and hopefully that makes sense.
Awesome. Good luck, Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Lisa Bryan. It was like, hold on, if you scroll up, it's around like 7:35.
Okay.
For the timestamp. She said she had a reading that her narcissistic ex had changed and was coming back, and it didn't make sense. Okay. So exes are usually exes for a reason.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Do narcissists change? Sometimes, sure. However, our experience now, I've had my share of dating some not so savvy gentlemen, but they can change, but it's not part of your journey to go on that change with them. And that's like, your guides are showing me like the castle door shutting, you know what I mean? Like over the moat, like bam, like you need to shut down your castle. He is not allowed to cross that bridge. He is not allowed to come back. You did your part in his journey by dealing with him for however long that you guys were together. You learned a lot from that. And they're saying it's almost like you are going to take steps back yourself if you allow yourself to get back into that situation. So they're not really showing me much about him and if he's changed. But they're just like shaking their heads. No, nope, not for her. Not for her. Don't let him back in. And sometimes, again, and it's like setting the boundaries, right? Like, you know, we're in relationships with these people, friendships, romantic relationships, whatever. And we did love them, right? At one point, and they did like mean a lot in our lives, but it doesn't mean that the timeline has to continue always with them. So don't let them back. Shut your moat bridge gate thing, whatever, and close up your castle, because oh, one just fell out for you. Let me pick it up off the floor. You got something better coming, something better than him. Let your fears dissolve. So I feel like when I just read that, they're saying, I don't know if you've moved on yet, Lisa, because you're afraid because of what you dealt with him. But they're saying you learned all the lessons you needed to learn to not have to deal with that again. You learned the tools, you learned the red flags. They just showed me that, like, red flags. You learned what to look for that you know is not healthy, and you're not going to allow your soul to deal with that again. Okay? So just let it go, breathe it out, and write down things. Like if things pop in your head, like, oh yeah, I learned this, or this was a red flag to me, or this was like a absolute no-go, I cannot be in a relationship, write that down so you don't forget it. So you don't, because we learn lessons by making mistakes, right? But if we continuously make the same mistakes over and over and over again, that's a choice. So we don't want to make that choice. We want to evolve and grow ourselves. Mm-hmm. All right. Good luck, Lisa. I hope everything works out.
Yep, I love it. Perfect example of you can love someone from a distance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so I was drawn to Jessica Bowie. I don't know if I said that right or wrong, but Jessica, am I on the right path making some major changes? So Jessica, as soon as I read that, I immediately saw my sign for independence. So I don't know the details of the changes, but I feel like all of these changes that you have going on that you are choosing to make is leading you to a path where you are more aligned with yourself than you have ever been before. And I think for you, boundaries is a big part of this, ironically, which again, no such thing as coincidence. But I feel like I keep seeing this image of you feeling like you were like backed into a corner in life. And you were just like, I just have to deal with this. I can't find a way out. And then all of a sudden this like strength came over you and you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. This isn't what I want anymore. Yeah. You said, hell yes, boundaries. Right. So keep showing up because you are absolutely on the right path here. And I think that the changes you're making right now, these aren't going to be forever changes. These are actually very powerful stepping stones to get you even further into your alignment. So while these changes feel big right now, be ready because I feel like 6 to 8 months, there's going to be a whole nother layer of changes that come forward. But the changes that you're making right now, you're going to be learning through this process. And so when that next chapter shows up for you, because I think it's going to be like, bam, here I am, like, the time is now, you can't escape it, that you're going to be like, you know what, I already went through this XYZ 6 to 8 months ago. I can totally handle this. And so it's going to give you this sense of confidence that I feel like you're kind of lacking right now. Does that make sense? You said, I'm scared. I feel like I'll have no money. You will have money. Absolutely. It might feel like a slower transition than what you really want. But again, remember, there's divine timing. Everything happens exactly the way and the timing that it needs to. But you showing up for yourself is all that you can do. And spirit is like, I just see them like cheering you on. I'm seeing like thumbs up. Like they're like, yes, she's finally doing it, because this feels like it's been a really long time coming and you've been fighting it like tooth and nail. You've been like, absolutely not. No, making excuses as to why it can or it won't work. And now that you're finally overcoming that fear and you're moving forward anyway, you are going to be rewarded like quickly. Let me see. Let's pull a card or two here. Yeah, you said finally excuses. Yes. Right. Yep. Yeah. So look, the first card that comes out says, trust your inner compass, be led from within. So this is 100% like you're on the right path. You just have to trust it. It's okay to be fearful, but don't let that fear hold you in place. Sweet relief, new beginnings, a new way forward. So, girl, you're good. You're good. You don't
You're
have
good.
Yeah, you're good. You don't have anything to worry about. Be patient with yourself. I can't emphasize that enough. And know that this is just a stepping stone. So it may not be the final goal that you have in mind, but it is absolutely a step in the right direction. So, I also keep seeing like big change for you. And maybe this is the 6 month thing around March to April. That feels like you are literally catapulted into a new chapter of life. So these feel like big changes, but in all actuality, these are the baby steps that you need to take before that bigger change that comes in for you in the spring. Yeah, big deep breaths. You've got this. You're golden. You've got it. You're moving in a perfect direction.
It's like super excited for her.
Me too. Like the energy around it, I don't even have the words to like express like how exciting and in alignment it really feels.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So good luck, Jessica.
Let's see. Mitch Donna Hendrick. My path has no direction. How can I improve my life? Is better things going to come my way? Need guidance of some sort. All right, Mitch or Donna. Is it Mitch or Donna? Let me know who it is. So I feel like you are on the path that you're supposed to be on, and it's almost like you're going through an awakening of a sort right now. And you're questioning everything on how to improve it because you're like, wait, all the things I've been doing my entire life, like they're not working anymore. And your guides are like, yeah, we know, you got to do something new. So, all right, Donna, you got to do something new. And you don't have to answer this if you don't want. I think you've been dealing with a little bit of depression. Like that's the feeling I get. Just like the really like what we were talking about, like the super tired and like you don't want to get out of bed. And it's almost, I feel like when you get up in the morning, you're already like pessimistic about the day. Like that's the vibe. I think you have to, they're showing me like look outside the box. So you are currently stuck where you are because it's your comfort zone. And it's sad in that comfort zone. So you need to look outside of what you're used to. And that's where you're going to find the joy. And it's going to be something completely unexpected, like that you never even thought. And I don't think it's a job, and I don't think like it's a big move. I just think it's something like an art or a hobby that you're going to be like, holy crap, this was a puzzle piece that was missing the entire time. And it's just going to make you feel full, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like a lot of the depression, it's almost like I feel like you have a hole and you're like, nothing's going to fill this hole in my heart. But you haven't allowed yourself to really explore what could fill the hole, Donna. I'm gonna pull a couple cards for you. Life is not bad though. Like your guides are like, it's not bad. It's just your okay. It's a perception. That's what we were talking about earlier. It's just the perception. But you're waking up every morning and you're taking a deep breath, and you have a house. All right. The first one was be humble. Woo. And I don't think this is be humble, like don't brag. I think this is be humble and let go of control to get out of that comfort zone, to get out of that box. Be humble enough to know and to trust that the universe and your guides and God, everybody's going to be there for you, like cheering you on while you find what's going to make you happy. I do save spot. Yeah. Okay. One more. That one's upside down. Trust all will be well. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Trust everything will be well. So let go of the control and just safely let yourself get out of the box. And to allow I feel like you aren't even allowing yourself to feel joy. It's like a guilt thing in there. And they're like, let it go. Whatever's making you feel guilty about enjoying your life, you have to let go. But you're going to be you're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's just going to open up all these like emotions and feelings. Like once you discover what that niche is, it's going to be like a whole new world. Oh my gosh. When I said that, I saw a flying carpet. Okay. Aladdin and Jasmine. Donna, good luck to you. You got this.
Yep. I love it. I love that you said, just getting out there and exploring things. I think we forget to do that as humans. Like we feel lost. We're like, I don't know what to do. And so we just kind of sit paralyzed instead of like, let me try this. That wasn't a good fit. Let me try this. Just putting it out there. Okay. So Tammy Carnes, you said anything on my relationship with Jay. So Tammy, I feel like this relationship, I don't know how long you've been in a relationship, but I feel like you've known each other for quite some time. And what I keep hearing from Spirit is you know enough about them to see things for what they really are rather than looking at the relationship through rose-tinted glasses. So I feel like you're trying to force a perception of this relationship that's not actually there. Does that make sense? So for some of us, sometimes that means like ignoring the red flags or compromising too much, or kind of brushing off something, making excuses for their behavior or lack of behavior, things like that. And I feel like this relationship, do what you want. Relationships are absolutely a free will aspect of life. I have to say that. Always do what feels right to you. But I feel like this relationship is better off as a friendship. And I feel like the romantic relationship has kind of run its course. And a part of your heart already knows that, but is choosing not to acknowledge it, if that makes sense. I do keep hearing it's important for you to show yourself compassion, but the longer that you refuse to see things for what they really are, the longer you're going to hold yourself in place. And you're going to kind of hold yourself back. And I feel something really great waiting for you. Like I really feel a really solid, healthy relationship waiting for you. But it doesn't have space to come in until you've decided what you're going to do with this relationship with this person. Cause it kind of feels like you have both feet in, but you're kind of teetering, right? You're kind of like, I don't know, because a part of you is seeing those things that you're trying to ignore, if that makes sense. I don't really see you making any immediate changes either way with the relationship, but I feel, and this is like one of the worst times for, changes or breakups to happen, is right around the holidays. What would you say? I've been feeling that for a while, but every time I try to let go, he changes for a little while. Mm-hmm. So pay attention to those cycles, right? Yeah, it feels more like a friendship. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the response you're hoping for, but that's what's coming through. The first card that came out here literally talks about breaking free and true motives. Like it says it, I don't know if you can read it. It says it right on there. But breaking free, figuring out what his true motives are, what your true motives are, what you guys really want. And again, having an open and honest point of view, really looking at it for what it is rather than what you want. And then it's safe to stop. Take time to heal is your second card. So I know that's not, I don't think that's what you were hoping to hear, but I do think it's kind of confirming I was going to say confirming what you already know. And you said I needed to hear the truth and not what I want to hear. Okay. So I'm sending you lots of love, but I do have to say Spirit is showing me once you are clear with the path that you're moving in, the universe is going to provide. That next person is going to come in relatively quickly. They just need you to be fully cut off from wanting to go back to this other person. So do that in your own time and in your own way, but just know that when you're ready to make that break, if you're ready to make that break, that next person will be right around the corner. So I'm sending you lots of love.
Awesome. I was drawn to some Walter and Lisa Asselstein.
I see it.
So first comment was career, feeling lost in career and marriage and really struggling. And then the second one was having some really dark thoughts.
Okay.
So, Lisa, if you're having any dark thoughts of harming yourself or harming others, call 911 or call 988, right? 988 is the suicide hotline. If you have availability for therapy, reach out. Like, don't let those dark thoughts consume you. Like, there's resources. I don't know where you live in the United States or we got people all over the world. So anywhere in the world, but everywhere has some resources. So make sure you reach out. Don't get in your head. Don't let those dark thoughts take over. But when I first read Lost in Career and Marriage, Really Struggling, I almost feel like they go hand in hand. Like the stress from work, you're bringing home, and he's bringing home his stress, and then neither of you are processing any of it, and you're taking it out on each other. And I feel like your guys are getting really short with each other. Perhaps a lot of yelling and like in an abusive tone. I don't see like physical abuse. And of course, if there is physical abuse, like get out as safely as you can. But I just feel like it's like your tongues are swords and you're hurting inside. So you're just taking it out on each other when you should be looking at each other for the support. So I think the first step is to reach out to a counselor. I think for you. And then see if your husband would want to come to counseling with you. And maybe you guys can work it out and like find healthy ways to deal with the stress and to deal with how you communicate with one another. Because I do feel like communication, it's really like neither of you communicate well. That's what they're showing me. Neither of you know how to communicate your emotions in a way that doesn't turn into an attack. So work on that. Maybe sit with that for a little bit. I do think nothing physical, but we don't communicate well. Okay, good. Well, not good, but yeah, I got that. Maybe start writing things down or like one little step. Maybe like when you guys get home from work, you get 15 minutes each to yourself to go to a separate room and to process your day and to not take it out on each other. And if you want to share about your day, you can. If you do not, then just say, you know what, I had a really bad day. I don't want to talk about it right now. And then he can say, all right, I had a really bad day too. I don't want to talk about it right now. And then you guys can just watch TV or Jeopardy or whatever. That's what I like to do. I like to watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, the old school game shows. But they're showing me, like your guys are showing me baby steps. I actually see when you guys start communicating better, like the stress that you bring home from work will be less because you're going to have somebody to talk to about. And you're going to learn how to leave it there. But they're showing me like baby steps. Like I do see the marriage has potential to work if you both put in the necessary work to communicate, to set expectations, communicate those expectations, because that's a lot of the problem, right? Like in our heads, we're like, well, why didn't you do this? And in his head, he's like, she never told me I had to do that. Like, what? I didn't know that was a thing. So 2 cards fell out for you at the same time. First one was keep your heart open. So be open to the good, be open to the love, be open to the joy, and don't get into that dark spot. Be open. And the second one is be real. So communicate, be real when you communicate, and communicate in a way that is helpful. And I think both of you need to do that because sometimes we communicate in ways that aren't helpful. We just want to hear ourselves talk, right? We just want to be heard. So Lisa, good luck. I hope that helped. I hope, like I said, reach out to any of those numbers, or if you have EAP through work, like employees assistance, they probably have like therapists they can set you up with, but don't get into that dark spot. Okay. Good luck. I'm sending you love. I feel bad. Don't be in the dark spot.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So it is 8:00. So I love this. I love just hanging out. I love doing readings, but I love like just chit chatting because I think, again, coincidence are not a thing. Like everything is a synchronicity. So whatever we needed to vent about or talk about tonight, and whoever's watching, well,
Yep.
they're on this side. I forget. It's mirrored. The comments are on this side for me.
Yeah.
They're down there. I don't know. Wherever the comments are. That if you guys were here for the conversation, you probably resonated with it. There was something that you needed to hear. So take that and do what you want with it.
Right. And for any of those that we didn't get to, actually, like the one question things with my Friday the 13th special, like those questions in the comments would be perfect. So if you want to book, go to wendalynb.com, book Friday the 13th. Like I said, I have limited availability. So I have spots open for the special, but it's only going to let you book on Friday the 13th at 10 o'clock. Like I set that as a time for everyone to book. So that way, you know, the rest of my day wasn't like, oh my gosh, you have this, and this.
Yeah.
So go wendalynb.com, book the Friday 13th. I'm also doing the virtual psychic readings just like this, but it'll be like 45 minutes long for $100. You can book that too. And we can hang out. And even if you just want to vent like this, I literally have a service called Girl Talk, and I will sit here and you can scream, cuss me out, whatever you need to do. Whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about shoes. I don't care.
I think that's not that it's my favorite service that you offer, but I love that that's a service you offer, because I think a lot of people need that. Sometimes we don't have that safe person who's not going to judge us, who doesn't know the ins and outs of either side of the story or, you know, of our life. And sometimes we just need to be like, look,
this is what's going on. Let me tell you about this.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So awesome. Yeah. So if you guys are watching, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, all of Wendalyn's information is in the description of the video. So for some of you, it's up there. For some of you, it's down there, but it's all there. And then again, her website is just scrolling down there on the bottom. So Wendalynn, is there anything that we missed that you wanted to talk about?
I didn't think so. Thank you all for hanging out. Had fun. Thank you for letting me vent as well and like get out my shenanigans.
Yep.
And just talk, you know, because like you said, sometimes we just need it.
We just
need
it.
Yep. But
yep.
I hope everyone has a great rest of their week.
Yes.
Because we're only halfway. It's only hump day. We're only halfway there.
How?
I know.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out, for being with us. If you are new to Wendalynn, be sure to go to her Facebook page, give her a follow. And I guess we will see you all next time.
Yeah. See you next month. Love you guys.
Have a great night.